Yes, our video today is focused on data analysis in social science research. A special focus will be on the mixed method kind of research. And like as usual, before we go further with the presentation or with the knowledge sharing, I would like to remind you not to forget to subscribe to the video or to the channel, and so that when new videos becomes available, you are the first one to be notified or to become aware of them. And more importantly, give a thumbs up in case the video was helpful or of a great assistance to you and your project and your colleagues. And share the video to care or show care to other people on the same projects or related projects, or those who are engaged in research. And lastly, put a comment or a question should we have such, so that we can engage further on the issues under presentation. Yes, in my introduction, like I said, this video is about analysis of data in social science research, but the most important is to underline the fact that mixed method research will be dominant in the presentation. And that's why I have to define the concept or phrase mixed method research. Mixed method research is the research approach that is dominated by application of both quantitative and qualitative approaches in such a manner that is equal. And this is happening from the world view to the end when data is analyzed, and which is the focus of this presentation. The mixing, like I said, happen at each stage of the research process in the mixed method research, and that is from the world view through to data collection and at the end when the data is being analyzed. And just to give emphasis, mixed method research, or the MMR, it integrates both kind of data or both kind of approaches, which is qualitative and quantitative. And as you should know, the quantitative approach is made up of statistical data, while the qualitative approach provide narrated explanatory data. So both together are integrated in order to make sense in the mixed method research. Purpose and the meaning of data analysis. What do we mean by data analysis? The purpose of data analysis is to extract useful information from data, and in so doing or on the process, the researcher will be taking the decision based upon the data that is analyzed. And data analysis is a process of cleaning, transforming and modeling data so that the researcher is able to discover useful information for decision making, as well as problem solving. A mixed method data analysis is made up of several activities and which are outlined throughout the process of analysis. So this involves data reduction or reducing the data size or quantity, and displaying of data in such a way that is presented with graphs and other tools. And that data transformation, data correlation, data consolidation, data comparison, as well as data integration. So all these 7 elements are going to be discussed or explained or described fully in the next slide. Understanding data analysis activities. Like I promised, these are the explanations towards each of the elements in the data analysis activities. So the first one, like I said, is the data reduction, to which the researcher is reducing the amount of data based on their value and cases as well as features through comparison using technologies for deduplication or removal of duplication of information or data, as well as compression of such data. So the other element is data display. So this is simply self-explanatory because it has to do with visual presentation of data to communicate a small number or amount of insight using graphs and tables, as well as charts, cartoons, and many more. So there are many tools that are used to present or display data. And the other element, the third element, is data transformation, which has to do with changing data from the format which is found in the source or the source format, the structure, to according to the value by cleaning and interpreting it for analysis purpose. And the data correlation is about interconnection of data to identify the relationship, mostly used in quantitative studies. So the data consolidation is another element which is used for combining data from different sources with intention to clean and verify to remove errors. So there are many activities involved in data analysis. And the other one is data comparison, in which data is being checked for different and relationship by comparing values in the data. And the last one is data integration, in which the combination of data from different sources is done to support the researcher's view. In mixed method research, 2 types of data is merged to produce insight to the phenomenon of the study. And there are 3 dimensions of merging, which is relational, methodological, and directional merging approaches or dimensions. The first one is the relational dimension of merging, which has to do with data collected and analyzed from both quantitative and qualitative, in which they become or allowed to be interfaced. So in this regard, data is either analyzed using a separative or iterate approach. So in the case of a separative approach, data is analyzed separately and integrated in discussion. So it means the data at the first stage or in the first point is being analyzed separately and then combined or integrated towards the end when the researcher is discussing it. Opposite to that, iterative approach has to do with data that is analyzed together throughout discussion, which means here the integration happens from the onset when the data is collected until the discussion. That is the difference between the 2 subcategories of relational dimension of merging. And going down, number 2, we have methodological dimension of merging, which has to do with weighing qualitative and quantitative based on analytics merging. So here the methodologies are involved in merging the data. And it is also subcategorized into three. And the first category is qualitative dominant mixed method research. So this is a dimension, subdimension, focusing on the situation in which qualitative is the main focus, and well recognizing quantitative approach or data. And opposite to quantitative dominant mixed method research, in which the focus is on quantitative while focus is on qualitative data. And different to interactive mixed method research, equivalently, this is equivalently driven, in which both methods are mixed together or driven together throughout to the discussion. The third one is directional dimension of merging, in which data is merged using either one direction, which is called unidirectional, or two directions, in which is called bidirectional. And in unidirectional approach, merging start from one strand to the other, which means it either start with quantitative to qualitative or qualitative to quantitative. And the second subcategory, bidirectional approach, in this case, both qualitative and quantitative strands are applied equally together. So no strand is more considered than the other, or vice versa. We also have different patterns of data merging. There are three patterns of data merging approaches, which is blind faith, and then the second one is matching, and the third one is data diffraction approach. So we will start with the blind faith approach, in which the intent is to merge both quantitative and qualitative data with the hope that or the hope to produce new insight on the phenomenon under study. And the second one is the matching approach, in which data collection instruments are designed intentionally to cover items that are related to elucidate data addressing same phenomenon or variables. And the third one is data diffraction approach. In this case, data collection instruments for both quantitative and qualitative are designed with intention to gain different aspects in the phenomena under study. So research brainstorming is very important when it comes to planning your own study. And the brainstorm should start from the research problem rather than the other way around. And the research problem will give you information about all the other elements, including your title, information or direction or guidance relating to your introduction and background as to the kind of resources and information that you may need to present. And framework, whether conceptual or theoretical framework, may also be formulated or built out of your research problem, as well as the objectives, although the objectives may be built from the framework which is or was born out of the research problem as well. And then once you have the research objectives and questions, then it becomes very easy for the researcher to construct the main themes for the literature review, as well as the data collection instruments. And it will guide you as to the kind of methodology that as a researcher you need to adopt, from the nature of objectives, the nature of your research questions, I think, as well as the kind of population that you are targeting. Then once your data collection instruments is ready, the data will be collected, and your literature will also simply be reviewed based on the objectives and your research questions, and then your data conclusion and recommendation will be based on integration of data, synthesis, analysis, and presentation from both your literature and data collected from the field. This is the simple way that one may conduct or plan around the research project. Thank you for watching, and one key important word that I want to leave it with you is that a choice for a research approach is not about which approach is nice to you. It's about the nature of the study that you are conducting, the kind of problem that you are researching, the nature of the population that you will have to use in collecting your data. So it should be based on the need and necessity rather than nice to have either mixed method, quantitative or qualitative study. Once more, thank you for watching, and do not forget to give a thumbs up in case this video was helpful to you, and also give a comment or a question on the comment slot so that we can discuss and engage further, and share the video with colleagues and students so that they can also benefit out of it. And more importantly, do not forget to subscribe so that you are able to get notified should any new video becomes available, so that you can benefit further on the channel.